Hello everyone, I welcome you all to part 2 of module 1 of this faculty training program where we'll be talking about creating audio video lectures using Microsoft PowerPoint. I'm Dr. Shelly Anand, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Deen Dayal Upadhyay College, University of Delhi. Now, the reason why we selected PowerPoint to be the first module for creating your own audio video lectures is for the simple reason that we as teachers have been using PowerPoint presentations for several years now, where we have been involved in creating slides and individual pages where we used to put in our content or any diagram or any graphics or for that matter any video, and we used to take it to our classroom and then we used to share it with our students. But then we were always available there with our presentation where we used to narrate the things and explain the things to our students. But now that the times have changed and it's the pandemic situation, so it is very important that instead of being physically present with the students, how can we take our own voice and take the kind of understanding that we want to impart to our students directly to them. So PowerPoint presentation can bridge that gap and it can help you to develop your own e-content for your own students. Now, PowerPoint presentations have certain qualities or features that makes it very user friendly for all of us, especially the teachers. So these features include that number one, it is very quick and easy. So any user, as I mentioned earlier also, that it is user friendly. So it is easy to understand and you can do the things at a very faster rate. So you need not know any particular coding formats or anything for it. So if you know how to create slides, so you can easily understand how you can add your own voice to it and you can create a video lecture out of it. Secondly, PowerPoint presentations, they offer you an option where you can create very attractive and creative designs which becomes very visually appealing for the students and it attracts them so that they can indulge themselves in taking up and understanding a particular topic. Now, the most important feature of PowerPoint presentations is the ease of modifying it and reordering it. So, by these two terms, I refer that by using PowerPoints, you can easily change, edit anything that you have written on these slides. So, at any moment of time, you can create changes in your presentations. You can even take away or transfer those changes from one presentation to another. At any moment of time, you have the option of deleting the things. So, all such modifications and reordering. Suppose you want to shift the slide that you had created at position number 2 to, say for example, at position number 20. So that reordering is always possible. So because of such options of modifying and reordering, PowerPoint presentations are very user friendly and easy to use. Now, the next important aspect of PowerPoints is the ease of integrating it with other products. So, here by integration, I mean that you can use Microsoft Excel or you can, through which you can incorporate tables into your presentation. You can also add graphs into your presentation. It can also be integrated with, say, for example, a YouTube video. You can also add a song to it. So all these integrations are possible in Microsoft PowerPoints. Now, as a result of such features where you can even automate the things in PowerPoint, so these features makes PowerPoint as a standalone tool so that you can prepare your own audio and video lectures without just searching for different kinds of tools, and because we are all used to such creating such PowerPoint presentations, so it is very easy for us to prepare lectures using the same tool that we have been using. So now let's understand how we can create our own audio video lectures. Now this is the slideshow mode. So if I have to go back to the slide mode, so I simply have to click on the escape button. So here we go back. So the first subtopic that we'll be covering under this presentation is giving sound to your presentation. Now this is very important. Why? Because earlier we used to be connected to our students and we were always available to take our classes. So we used to teach our students by being physically present with them. But now, when the situation has changed, why not send them the lectures that have your own voice? Because that helps your students to connect with you equally and they don't feel as if they are present remotely. They still feel connected to you. So, in my opinion, this is the best option if you can prepare lectures and give it your own sound so that the students feel at ease and comfort when they are gaining knowledge from you. So let's see how this can be done. So this is the PowerPoint presentation. On the top you have a toolbar where you have different options available. Now here you see different tabs like home, insert, design, transitions. So you simply click on the insert tab and here at the end you see three options. The first is video, which Dr. Renu Solanki has already discussed with you. The second option is audio. So this is meant if you want to incorporate any audio file into your presentation. So when you click on this down arrow, you see that it pops up two different kinds of options. So the first is audio on my PC. Now suppose if I have downloaded any audio file into my system, into my laptop or into my mobile, so that file can be inserted into the PowerPoint presentation. So let's see how this can be done. So if I click on this option, so it takes me to a window where it asks me the location of my file on the system. So I can just browse to that location. So I've pre-downloaded one file which has been saved on my desktop in a folder called as module 1. So here suppose I've already saved a file where the independence speech of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has been saved. So suppose I want to incorporate this audio file of Nehruji into my slide. So I simply click on this and click insert. So you see that an icon has been created along with a sound bar. So if you click on this play button, so
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now.
So this is how you can include or insert any audio file into your presentation. Now suppose if you want to insert a song into your presentation, so again you go back to the insert tab, you go to the audio button, click on audio on my PC. Now you can insert any song that you have saved on your system. So here suppose I want to insert this song. Right. So you click on insert and then again you get an icon and you can press on the play. So now you have inserted a song into your presentation. Now similarly, if suppose I want to insert my own sound into my presentation, so for that also you need to go to the insert tab, audio button, and instead of the first option you click on the record audio option. So when you click on this, a small window pops up. So it asks you to write the name of the sound. Suppose I want to name it as slide 1. So you can type this. Now beneath this you find three different options. So the first box or the square has a play button which is inactive as of now. The second box has a square button. So this is meant for stopping your audio. So this is also inactive at the moment, and the third option has a red dot in between in its center. So this is meant for starting the record. So as soon as you click on this red dot, everything that you say or you want to record, you can do that using this record option. So let's see how it can be done. Suppose I click on this red dot. So now whatever I say is going to be recorded. For example, I say I welcome you all to this second session of module 1 where audio video lecture creation would be understood. I am Dr. Shelly Anand. Hello everyone. So suppose I want to record this, you simply click on OK. Again you see an icon created and it has a bar underneath it. So when you click on the play option, so it plays. So now whatever I say is going to be recorded. For example, I say, I welcome you all to this. So this is how you can record individual slides and then you can save it. So for saving, you need to press Ctrl S and it saves. So this is how you can incorporate or insert any audio file. You can also insert a song into your presentation, and the third option is to insert your own voice into your presentation. So all these three things are possible even in Microsoft PowerPoint. Now this was all about the option of recording audio into your presentation. The other option is screen record. So you must have seen that when we were talking about the audio option, so the third option was screen recording. Now suppose if you don't want to record each and every slide individually and you want to just record everything all at once, you want to record the entire presentation in one go. So you have this option available, and this is one of the best options where you can record even your presentation or whatever you want to teach to your students. So using this option you can even record a Word file. So let's see how it can be done. So when I click on this option, so this is what I get. This is my desktop. So you see a small window here. So the first thing that you need to do is select the area that you want to be recorded, right? So suppose I want to record a PowerPoint file. So you select any area, then you open your PowerPoint file. Now you can even reselect it. So suppose I just want to select this much of the area. I don't want the entire screen to be recorded. I just want this slide to be recorded. So you can select that area. Now one important thing that you all can do here is that in a PowerPoint presentation at the bottom you all see that there is a space where it's always written click to add notes. So this is something where you can add whatever you want to speak in your presentation. Suppose I want to record this particular slide, so I can pre-write what I want to speak on this slide. For example, let me type, this slide talks about the ways in which you can record your audio or your presentation using PowerPoint. Right? So similarly, you can write whatever you want to, whatever the content of the slide is. So you can write below the slide, and whenever you are going for the screen recording option, you can simply click on this record button. So whenever you click on this button, so the recording starts. So suppose let's start and see. So it prompts 3, 2, 1. It gives me time to prepare myself, and then now that it has started, so I can start speaking up. So this slide talks about the ways in which you can record your audio or your presentation using PowerPoint. This is the slide which shows you how you can edit the audio record. Now suppose I want to end the screen recording or I want to pause it. So for pausing, you can click on this parallel line, and if I want to restart, I can again click on this, and if I want to end my recording, I can click on this square button. So as soon as you click on the square button, the recording has stopped, and here what you see is, you see a recording, right? So this is what you have recorded. So if I click on the play button, you will realize that how it has recorded whatever I was speaking, and you can also see that it did not record the entire screen. So it recorded only the area that I wanted it to record. So I had initially selected that area which was meant to be recorded, and it has recorded only that portion. So let's play and see how it works. Gives me time to prepare myself, and then now that it has started, so I can start speaking up. So this slide talks about the ways in. So if you are not comfortable in recording the entire presentation, So or you're not very much confident, so you can keep on writing below each slide, and then you can select the slide area, and then you can keep on recording. Or the other option is that you record each and every slide. So as we did here, so on the first slide we had some recording, on the second slide we had some recording, similarly on the third slide also we had some recording. So when you share such a presentation with your students, so during the slideshow, suppose I want to start from the first slide. So the student can simply click on this play button. So now whatever I say is going to be recorded. He or she can switch to the next slide. Again play and listen to whatever is there on slide 2. Again on the third slide.
Long years ago,
The student can also play the video. Gives me time to prepare myself. Right, so this is how you can create your own audio, or you can record the screen using PowerPoints. Right, now suppose what happens, you created a screen record or you inserted an audio, but then you find that no, it had some portion that was unwanted, or you did not like it, or something went wrong at the end or in the beginning. So you also have an option where you can edit the audio record. So for this, what you can do is, now before that you also have an option where, if suppose you recorded something on slide number 3, but you don't want it on slide number 3, so you can simply just select it. You can click on Control C, or you can simply go to this option on the toolbar, copy. You can go to the other slide, copy, or say cut. So cut, you can go to slide number 4 or any place where you want to, and you can simply paste. For paste, you can click Control P, or you can paste it from this option also in the toolbar. So here I've cut the audio file that was created on slide number 3, and now I have it on slide number 4. Now in this particular audio, if I feel that something is not right and I need to trim it, I need to edit it. So for that, an option is also available. So whenever you click on this audio icon, so you must be seeing that two audio tools have been highlighted in the toolbar. So the first audio tool is the format. Now this basically deals with formatting the icon of this audio file. So suppose you want to make it circular, you want to give it an outline, you want to give it a frame like appearance, or you want to add shadow to it. So all these options are available in the format option. You can also correct it. Correct in the sense you can give it a different kind of brightness and contrast. Suppose I want this one, so I can change it. I can even give it a different kind of a color. Suppose I want it in teal color or aqua color, so I can click on this. So you can see that my logo has changed its color. If I want it in say tan color or ash color, I can go for this option. So all such options are available in the format tool option. You can also give it an artistic effect, like for example this. So you can go for such options. Now the other option that is associated with the audio icon is the playback option. So when you click on this option, you find you can either check or preview the media by
long
clicking on
years
this
ago,
button,
we made a tryst with
right? You can also add bookmarks. So bookmark is you play the audio file. Suppose
destiny, and now
so wherever you feel, this is for your own reference. Suppose you want to add a bookmark after a certain interval. So you need not always keep a track of the audio file. You can pre-insert the bookmark so that it stops for some time at that position, and then you can explain something to the students. So that is the work of a bookmark. You can also remove the bookmark if you want to by this option. Now, the trim audio option is the most important option. So when you click on this option, so a window comes up. So here you see two bars. So the first bar is in green color. So this indicates that this is the start point of the audio. The other bar is red in color, so this is the end of the audio record. So if you want to trim the initial part of this audio file, so you can simply drag it to the position where you want to start your audio from. Similarly, if you want to trim or cut off the end part, you are free to do that also. So this is possible if you want to do any changes in the audio file. And then you simply click on OK. So now your audio file has shortened. So you have trimmed the initial part and you have also trimmed the end part. Then the fade duration, so fade in and fade out. So see, you can always keep your cursor on the option and you see that what that option is all about. So this you can navigate and you can search it yourself also. So you can, if suppose you want your audio file to start with a slight fading effect for some time, so that also you can do. So it starts with a faded sound and then it picks up and takes up the normal sound level. Then you can also adjust the volume of the audio record if you want it to be high, you want it to be medium, or you want it to be low. So that also you can do. Then you can decide whether you want this audio file to start on a click or you want to start automatically. So by automatically we mean that as soon as you'll reach on this slide during the slideshow, so the student or you will not have to click on the play button, rather it will start playing automatically, right? So that you can do. Then you want this audio file to play across all these slides, so you can do that also. So if you click on this button, so this audio will be repeated on each and every slide of your presentation, right? The next option says loop until stopped. Which, what does this mean? It plays in a loop. So suppose you play it after 5 slides, the audio file is over. So it will not stop. Rather, it will again start playing from the beginning. So that is the meaning of loop until stopped. Right? Then hide during the show. So if you want this icon and everything not to be seen on the screen, so you can click on this button. Right? Then this rewind after playing. So rewind means once the entire audio file has been played, then it again goes back to the first position and then it stops there, or you can start playing it from the starting point. Now, if you want this audio file to play in the background, so you can click on this option, but if you don't want to play it in the background, you can click on no style option. So these options are available in the playback audio tool. So where you get an option of even editing your audio record. So it's not just the audio record that you have recorded. You can even trim the music file. Suppose you want to just retain a small portion of a speech. So you can do that in case of this playback option. So this is all about editing the audio record. Now, the next important feature of PowerPoint presentations that you can use while creating an audio video lecture is the slide transition. So, by transition, we mean that how a slide moves from one slide to the next one. So, that is meant by the word transition. So, you can decide how you want the switch to take place. So, for this, there is an option in the toolbar. So, you go to the transitions tab and you click on it. Now here you see that there's a very long window where you see different kinds of options available. So if you click on the down arrow or the more arrow, you see that a number of options are available. Suppose I click on the blinds option. So this is how this slide is going to switch to the next slide. So it goes in the form of the blinds. Now, beside this long window where it shows multiple options is a small button by the name Effect of Options. So, for each of these options, you have further sub options available. Like if I click on this option, you see that if you want the vertical blinds, then you can select this. But if you want horizontal blinds, so that option is also available. If you want to see how this effect is going to look like, so you can click on this button of preview and you can see it. So you can do this multiple times, right? So every time you click on something, it shows by default, but if you want to preview it again, you can click on this icon and see it. So for every option, as I said, again, if you want to see it has it curls in the form of a paper, either from the left corner or from the right corner. So you get such different kinds of options for each of these slide transitions. Suppose I select the wipe option. So under the wipe also you can select from which direction you want the wipe to go. Right, so this is the purpose of having this effect option. Now after that you see the small icon by the name sound. So this sound option is if you want to associate this transition of the slide along with any sound. Like for example, by default it gives many such options that are pre-saved in the system along with the Microsoft Office PowerPoint. But if you want to add some other sound that you have already stored in your system, so you can do that also. So for example, I want to add the sound of a click and I want to preview. So did you hear? So every time the slide transits, it will have a click sound. Right. Similarly, you can go for bomb. So this will be more evident, I guess. So this is the sound of the bomb. So you can also associate this transition with sound. Now the reason of using transitions is it makes your presentation or your e-content even more attractive. It makes it more creative. So you are free to use such options. Now this is the duration. So this duration is the time that you want this transition to take place. So when one slide changes to the next slide, for how much duration do you want this transition to happen? So by default it is set as at 1 second, but if you increase the time, so the effect of this transition will become more evident. So if I set it on 2 seconds, so let's preview. So it has moved slowly. So here you can see how the effect has taken place. Now below this is it has an option for apply to all. So by using this option you can insert or you can associate the same transition to all the slides in your presentation. So if I click on this option, so be it my first slide, second, third, fourth, so for all the slides in my presentation, the same effect will be applied. But if I want to go for different effects on different slide, so individually I'll have to select a slide and then apply a different kind of effect to it, right? So this is possible, right? Now, after this, you have an option of advanced slide. So for advanced slide, it means that when you switch from one slide to the next slide, whether you want to do so on a click of the mouse or you want to automatically schedule it. So by default, the PowerPoint saves it on the click of the mouse. So every time you click on the slide, so it moves to the next slide. So like for example, if I go on the slideshow mode, so this is my slide. I'll have to click and only then it moves to the next slide. I again click and then it moves to the next slide. So this is how you can do. But if you want it to be automated, that means if you want the slide to switch to the next slide, say after every 2 seconds. So you can change the time here and you can set it, right? So now if I go on the slideshow mode, I need not click on the slide, it will automatically switch to the next slide. So you can see that I am not clicking it, but still after every 2 seconds, it is moving. But I did not apply this option to all the slides and therefore this has been applied only to one slide. Right. But had I been clicking on this apply to all option, then all my slides would have switched from one to the next after an interval of 2 seconds. Right? So this is how you can control the advancement of your slide to the next one. So this is all about slide transitions. These create a very visually appealing effect on your presentation. So you should be doing this because it makes your slides even more attractive. Now let's move on to the next option. So the next feature of PowerPoint is the use of laser pointer and pen during the lecture delivery. Now suppose you are delivering a lecture even during the normal classes or even when you are recording anything. So suppose you have gone on a slideshow mode, right? So on the slideshow, if you want to, for example, here I have pasted a diagram of a flower and you want to explain this to the students. Now using the cursor it gives a very faint effect and it may not be so much visible. So to make it more evident, what you can do is you simply right click on the slideshow and here you can see that it has an option for pointer options under which you can select the laser pointer option. So now I have got a laser pointer and using the mouse I can show the different parts, like for example this is the stem of the flower, this is the ovary of the flower, this is the petal. So I can use this as a laser pointer. Now, in addition to this, if suppose I want to write something on the screen, so like we do in our regular classes, what we do along with the presentation, we hurry up or we move to the blackboard and we start explaining there. So instead of doing this, PowerPoint gives you an option to write directly on the presentation itself. Suppose I want to write a formula. Suppose I want to write something. So instead of going to the blackboard or minimizing the presentation, I can write something on the slide itself. So this is how I can write. Or suppose I want to write 1, 2, 3. So I can write whatever I want to. So this is also possible. Again, under the pointer options, you have an option for highlighter. So if you select this, suppose I want to highlight a particular word, I want to emphasize on something, I can use a highlighter and I can highlight that part. Suppose I want to highlight the use of laser pointer. So I can use a highlighter and this is how I can do under a normal recording also. Suppose you are recording a lecture and within the lecture if you want to explain something, so you have this freedom of using a pen, pointer or even the highlighter. You can even change the color of these by using this ink color option. Now if you want to erase something, you can select the eraser option and each stroke. So stroke is something that you have created without lifting the mouse or without declicking the mouse. So one single stroke can be erased at a time. So you simply have to go to that stroke and you have to click. So it gets erased, right? So this is how you can erase. But suppose if you want to erase the entire thing that you have marked on this slide, so you can go to erase all ink on the slide option and then it gets erased up, right? So this is about using the laser pointer and pen during lecture delivery. So you can use all these options even during your normal classes when you are physically present with your students. Now, the other important aspect of Microsoft PowerPoints is the ability to organize your presentation. Suppose now here I have a very short presentation where I have just 9 slides, but suppose you have created a presentation for your entire topic and it has multiple slides. For example, you have slides in the range of 50 or 60. And like a chapter is organized into many subheads or subtopics, similarly, you can also organize your PowerPoint presentation into some subheads. For that, what you need to do is you go to this home tab and here you see an option by the name section. So this helps you to organize your slides into section. So you click on this arrow and you can select add section. So suppose I want to add a section right from the starting. So I can add section here. I can rename this section. Suppose this is my slide on PowerPoint. Or you can simply write the name of your chapter. Click enter. So this is PowerPoint. My first 2 slides for example. I want to name it as introduction, rename. Then after 2 slides, I feel that I want to add another section. So I can add one more section and rename it. Suppose this is about adding audio and its editing. Rename. Then I want to add another section by the name, say slide transitions. Rename. Then another section, pointers, pointers and laser, pointers and laser, pointers, pens and lasers. And suppose the last section I want to create on, for example, saving and sharing, right? So now I just have to click on this small triangular button and this section collapses. See how it is collapsing? So if I collapse all my sections, so this is the look that I get. So what does it reflect? It shows that I've created a presentation on the topic PowerPoint, and this has so many subheads by the name introduction, which has been covered in 2 slides, audio and its editing, which has been covered in 2 slides, slide transition in 1 slide, lasers, pointers and pens in 1 slide, and saving and sharing in 3 slides. So if suppose I want to search a particular slide, or I want to discuss only a particular subtopic, so I need not scroll through the entire presentation and search for that particular slide. So if I've organized my presentation into such subheadings, so I can simply, suppose I want to talk on slide transitions. So I simply have to click on slide transitions and that slide will be in front of me. So this helps you organize your presentations, especially when you have bigger presentations of entire topic that has been divided into multiple subtopics. So this is all about slide transition and how you can, pointers and lasers, and how you can organize the presentation and use laser, pointer and pen during lecture delivery. Now let's move on to the next important aspect of PowerPoint presentations, and that is saving. Now this is a very important part of the presentation. Why? Because at times what happens, that when you share your presentation with your students, colleagues or your friends, so they tend to modify your presentation, or they may take away some important images that you had created using spending lots of time on it, and you don't want that to happen. So what you can do is you can save your presentation in a different format. Now what we are used to is we simply go to the file and we click on save or save as option, and we simply type the name and save our presentation. But instead of doing this, you can save your presentation in multiple formats, right? So before I tell you how you can save it in different formats, let's understand how you can create a video lecture, right? How you can convert your simple presentation into a video file which can be uploaded on YouTube also. The reason for this is that it is going to take a bit longer for the slide to be converted into a video lecture, right? Suppose, for example, now to make this process quicker, I am simply deleting this file, because otherwise the heavier the content, the more time it is going to take to record, right? So suppose I want to convert it into a video file, so I'll go to the file option. You can go to the export option here. So here you see that you get an option to create a PDF file of your presentation, which you can do. The second option says that you can create a video. So you click on this option, and then it brings forth two different kinds of options. So the first option is the presentation quality. So one thing has to be remembered, that the highest or the better the quality, more will be the size of the file, right? So if you want a file that has to be shared easily, so you can go for the internet quality or the low quality files. But if you want your presentation or your video lecture to have a very high resolution, so you can simply click on the largest file size. Now here, because the larger the file size, the highest is the quality. So the maximum time it is going to take to create this kind of a file. So for ease, so that it may create the file quickly, let's go for the low quality file in this case. But you can decide whichever quality suits you the best. Here I am using low quality because I may not be using this file, and I simply want to show you how a video file can be created using a PowerPoint. Now I would suggest that you keep all these options as default and you simply click on the create video option. So then it pops up a window where it wants me to save my video file. So I can select a folder, say on the desktop, module 1, and I want to save it as, for example, module 1, suppose my first video lecture. Suppose I want to save a file by this name. Again, you can save it in two formats, either .mp4 format, or you can also save it as a Windows Media Video. So whichever suits you, whichever you want. Both of these are compatible with YouTube. So you can create by any of these means and you can still upload your video on YouTube. So you can click on the save button. So when you click on this, you see a progress bar below the presentation. So this shows how it is progressing towards creating a video file. So it is somewhat 1/3 it has completed and it is still to go. Now in the meantime, I want to show you that what are the other options of saving your presentation. Now the best way of saving a presentation if you want to share it with your students is by going to the save as option. You can go to the module where you want to, module or folder where you want to save your presentation, and instead of normally saving it as a PowerPoint presentation, you click on this option and you look for the PowerPoint show. So here you can see PowerPoint show. You click on this option and here I can change the name of my presentation. Suppose I want to write it as my show, slideshow. So you can give it a name and you can click save, right? So now you have saved your presentation in the form of a slideshow. So now what is the benefit? So when you save your presentation as a slideshow, so every time a student or anyone opens it, it won't open in this format where you have the toolbar or you can edit the content of the presentation. So let me show you how it opens up. So we'll go to the module. So we had saved it by the name slideshow. So when you click on this, you just see how it opens up. So this is how it opens up. Did you notice something? So it has directly started with the slideshow. It doesn't give you the option of editing the content, right? So it opens up as a slideshow and the students can see it. No one can disturb the content that you have in your slide. So this is the best way of saving the presentation as a slideshow, because this is how you can prevent your data from being stolen, edited or deleted or played with, so that you can do. Now you can see that the progress bar has vanished below this slide, so that indicates that my video file has been created. So let's have a look how our video looks like. Again to the folder where I had saved it. So we had saved it by the name my first video lecture. You double click on this. It opens with the Windows Media Player. So here you can see that how it is playing like a video. Right? Let me scroll through it.
To the service of India and her people, and
So whatever audio you had inserted in your presentation will appear as a background voice for this video lecture. So you can see.
quest and tackle the pleasures we have so often made to our dreams. This has been said.
So this is how you can create a presentation. You can create a presentation and then you can convert it into a video file. So this is how you have created a video lecture that has your own voice in it, right? So we have understood that how we can save our presentation. And the third important way how you can save your presentation is by going to the save as option, going to the desired folder where you want to save it, and instead of saving it as a PowerPoint show, you can go for the PDF format, right? So PDF is a portable document format. So this prevents anyone from editing your content. So we all are familiar with PDF formats. So let's type, suppose this is my PDF file. So I click on the save option. So you can see how it opens up. So this is a PDF file of the same presentation, and each of these slide has come up as a new page in my PDF document. See? So again, this cannot be changed. Wherever you might type, you may click anything, but it doesn't change. So it retains the format in which you have created your content, and it prevents anyone from disturbing that content. So these are the different ways in which you can save your presentation and how you can create a video lecture out of your normal presentation. Now, now the next important aspect of the presentation of a video file is the sharing option. Now this is very important. Why? Let's look at the folder first where we had created different formats of the same presentation. So this is my folder, right? So here you can see that this is my normal presentation which I have created that contains nine slides in it. So you see the size of it. So it is around 7 MB, right? Now you look at the PDF file. So it has compressed and it has become shorter in size because your PDF file will not have any audio or video that you have incorporated. So that is the reason why the size of this PDF file is less as compared to the normal presentation. Now, when you save it as a slideshow, look at the size. So it is slightly more than the presentation itself. Then finally you look at the video file. See the drastic increase in the size. So your presentation has a size of around 7.3 MB, but your video file has a size of 17.3 MB. Now this presentation which I converted into a video had only 9 slides and I incorporated very less of audio content in it. But under normal conditions, where you are recording your entire topic or your theory part into it. So the size of this file increases to huge amounts. Now the problem comes that how are you going to share such a file with your students? So for this, what you can do is you can use your Google Drives for it. Now that all of you have created a Google account, so you can just log in to your Gmail account like I have logged into my Gmail account here, and then I can go to this magic cube like symbol at the corner. If I click on this, so I see a number of options available here. So here I need to click on this drive option which has tri-colored folded ribbon like appearance. So if I click on this drive, so my drive appears. Now what is drive? Drive is a space that comes along with a Google account which provides you extra storage of 15 GB with you. So you have 15 gigabytes of space with you where you can store your content. So this serves like your file that you can carry at any time. So we carry our mobiles with us, we have our Gmail accounts with us. So whatever you store in your drive, It remains with you every time, so you can store all your resources, all your study material in your drive, and that you can carry at any place that you go. So that is the purpose of having a drive, and you can even share heavy files or heavy folders with anyone, say your students or your colleagues. Now, by default, you get a space of 15 GB with every Google account, a normal Google account. Here you see that it shows 100 GB space. This is because I've purchased extra space from Google by paying for it. You can also do that. But in case you have an institutional account that is linked to Gmail, so there you get a space of 1 terabyte. So that's a huge space, a lot of space where you can store a lot of content. Now suppose I want to share this video file that I have created. Now this was in the range of 17.3 MB. Now suppose under normal conditions you have a file that has a size of say 50 MB or say 100 MB. So transferring or sharing such files by Gmail or any account becomes difficult. So for that we use the Google Drives. Now here you see an option where it's written plus, so or new. So you click on this option. So you can create a folder here. So the first option is folders. You can create a new folder. What I would suggest is that you create a new folder today itself on the first day of this faculty training program. So create a folder by the name of this faculty training program, because this will be useful for you to prepare any assignment or even submit the quiz. So you click on the create button. So you can see that a folder has been created as faculty training program. You double click on this folder. So now at the moment this folder is empty, right? So here you can add the video or upload the video that you have created in your system. So you can either right click in this folder, anywhere in this folder, and click on upload file, or you can even go to the plus option and upload a file from here. So right click, upload file. You can browse to the location where you have saved your video file. So I saved it on the desktop inside a folder named as module 1 by the name of my first video lecture, and then you click on open. So here you can see that it has started uploading, and it shows that it is going to take less than a minute to upload. So you can even see the progress of uploading. So the circle is getting blued up. So let's see how it is uploading. So yes, so now it's nearly over. So the upload has happened and it shows that one upload complete, and it shows a tick mark also. If you look at the folder, so you can see that the video that you just now created has been uploaded in your folder. Now you can right click on this specific file, and then you can go on the option called as get shareable link. So when you click on this, so it comes up with a link. Now this link can be copied. Now what is this link all about? So this link is the place where your video file has been stored inside your drive. So you can share this link with anyone you want to, and that person will have an access to the video file that you have saved in your Google Drive. So you simply have to copy this. You can also check on this restriction, whether you want it to be shared with only the person with whom you have shared the link, or you want it to be shared with any person that has the link, right? So you can select whichever option suits you, and then what you need to do is you simply have to go back. You go back to your Gmail account. You can click on compose to create a new mail, and here you see at the bottom you have many options. So here you can see this one is for formatting option. Whatever you write in your mail you can format it. The second option is to upload any file that is present in your system, in your laptop. The third option says that insert the link. So this is the way how you can share your video files or any content that is heavy in size, or if suppose you have stored multiple resources into your drive, so you can share using this link with anyone. So you click on this insert link option. Here you can write, dear students, or this is my video lecture on say PowerPoint presentation, right? And below this you can just Control V, so as to paste the link that you just now copied. You can even test this link. So when you click on the test link option, it should open up that video that you just now created. So this is the video that you have created.
Bring
Right?
this to things continue even now.
So you have tested that it is working perfectly fine, and you click on the go option. So here now you have created a hyperlink where if I say, suppose I share this with myself and I write along with this, dear students, please go through my lecture for the day. Best wishes. So similarly, you can share your video file with your students, my video lecture, and you can click on the send option. Right? So a file has come to me. So this is how your students are going to see the mail. So they simply have to click on this, and this link will take them to the place where you have saved your, it will give an access to the video presentation that you have created, and the students can simply watch your video. You can even upload these videos on YouTube channels that you'll understand, or that you'll get to know in the course of time throughout this, in this faculty training program. So this is how you can even share your presentation with your students, with your colleagues, with anyone you wish to, using your Google Drive. So I hope this has been a useful session, and you can use PowerPoint as a simple tool for creating your own video lectures. It is very easy to understand, but in case you have any doubts regarding this, you can always write to us. This email ID has already been shared with you, but still I'm writing it here again. So dduc.departmentofzoology@gmail.com. Thank you.